Welcome to the part 2 of amateur telescopes. Remember, every target has its favorite scope. That will make sense as we discuss more. Today we will be talking about aperture, focal length and magnification. Well, see these three telescopes? They all are actually of same size. No, I'm not joking. They are. All these three have aperture of 76 millimeters. The middle one has aperture of 70 millimeter. See, they all are in a quarter inch. So what does the aperture gives us? We can focus on two things. The bigger the aperture, the more light will enter in the scope, and for fainter object we need more light. In this case, the bigger is better. Important fact here, if you double the aperture, you actually quadruple the area of your optical instrument, which means more light will enter because it is a square rule. Now coming to the second part, resolution. The bigger the aperture, you will get more optical resolution. See this blob of light? Well, it is a low resolution image of a distant fainted object, and now as we turn up the resolution, you can see there is something, and as we keep on increasing the resolution, we can clearly identify it as this is not a one object, it's actually two distinct objects which have very fainted light. This is a globular cluster M13 with a 6-inch scope. You can see little bit of star separation in the middle, and now look at it with Hubble's 2.5 meter mirror. What you see is way too exciting. You can see all the star separation clearly, and this is Saturn from a 50 millimeter finder scope. See, this is Saturn from 150 millimeter Newtonian scope. Still, it's not the best image what you can achieve with this telescope, and now it is from Hubble's 2.5 meter mirror. There is a limit of resolution what you can achieve for a given aperture. We will be talking about it more as we cover eyepieces and magnification. The link between field of view and focal length is as simple as that. The longer the focal length, the narrower the field of view. The shorter the focal length, the wider the field of view. Well, how is that working? Well, its working can be understood if you know a bit about focal ratios. You remember all of the three telescopes were of same aperture and of different focal length. Now if you divide the focal length with the aperture, you will arrive with a different sets of number. What these numbers say is, what are these numbers? These numbers are actually their f ratios, focal ratios, and they never change with telescopes. They are fixed for every individual telescope. This long refractor has a focal ratio of 15.8, which means around 16. If you divide focal length with its aperture, you will arrive at this number. Now talking about the middle refractor, we'll see it has a 600 millimeter of focal length, and if we divide it by its aperture, we will arrive at 8.5 f ratio. Now talking about the short little stubby reflector, we see it has a focal ratio of 3.9, around 4. So the longer f ratio telescope provide more magnification and less field of view. It makes easy to watch planets, but it's difficult to see clusters like this one. And the medium-sized telescopes provide fairly high magnification and decent amounts of field of view. These telescopes are fairly common. And now talking about the short reflector, these provide the least amount of magnification and the widest amount of field of view. Although in larger aperture, focal length tends to get faster so that tube length don't become unwieldy to handle and operate. From the long refractor, you can see only this much of well-known Pleiades cluster. You will be surprised to know that it's only half a quarter of a degree field of view, and Pleiades is surely much more larger than that. Now moving to the mid-sized refractor, you can see little bit more, just barely fitting hole of the Pleiades, and see the reflectors whole of the, look how beautifully they frame this view of Pleiades cluster with the most amount of field of view. In astrophotography, there is second and most important factor is chip size. If you decrease the chip size, you are limiting of what you can see in sky. So the longer focal length scope with a large sensor can actually see same as the shorter focal length scope with a very small sensor. There will be no difference in image. As you increase the patch of the sky, you can see with your small focal length, and then you cut out major part of it by reducing the chip size. In that case, you will see same patch of sky as in previous case. Now getting back to these three telescopes and seeing their magnification power, there is a simple mathematical equation for this, for determining the magnification. You divide the focal length of your lens or mirror by the focal length of your eyepiece, and the result you end up with is your magnification. In this case, we will be using a 20mm eyepiece and seeing magnification for each case. Taking this refractor, we see, if we do the math, it gives us 60 times of magnification. For the medium one, we get the magnification of around 30 times, and if we do the math for the smaller one, we get the magnification of around 15 times. Now wait and think for a movement. If we reduce the eyepiece to 10mm instead of 20, we will see increase in magnification number. The 1200mm one will gives us 120 of 120 times of magnification, 600mm gives us 60 times of magnification, 300mm gives us 30 times of magnification. But you see, there is no change in ratios. Why is it so? Can you guess the answer? So get down in comments and try it by yourself. In next video, I will be explaining why. And up in next video, we will be seeing eyepieces and magnification and apparent field of view and telescopic field of view. And quickly, I would like to tell you that there is no such thing like magnification in astrophotography. What will you be referring to in sky for reference? And even visual astronomy, there is no magnification. All that matter is the patch of sky that you can view. And thanks for watching. Thumbs if you like it, subs if you love it. I'm Mohammad Shad. This is Shad Explains.